The band was formed from a group of musicians that were already in existence in 1817, and then that group of musicians were incorporated into the Brown's Ironworks band that was formed in 1823. But this was a brass and reed band. In 1830, the band changed to all brass, and it seems to be that it was the idea of this German traveller, Carl Schaefer, and he was the first conductor of the band. They bought some instruments from Amsterdam, and then this made the first all-brass band. Blaina's claim to fame to being the first all-brass band in Great Britain. The band's name changed several times over the years.
Was it Lancaster in the band's name at one time?
Blaina Lancaster band. It was again, that was John Lancaster, wasn't it? John Lancaster.
You know, coal mines.
Coal mines and things like that. I've got a programme from the Eisteddfod in Blaina, and in that programme there's Joshua Probert, who was Jack Probert, his father. Now Jack Probert was a conductor of the band from about 1915 to 1950 odd, 1953, something like that. And his father had been a playing member of the band 60 years before 1938. The information passed from one to another is solid. It's like my father. My father was in the band from the early 1930s, and I'm still here today. So basically, there's 80 odd years just between my father and me.
And your father more or less took over where Jack Probert left off.
Yes.
How long was your father conducting for, Carl?
Dad conducted for just over 20 years. Just over 20 years, but then he'd been a player in the band from the early 1930s as a youngster. Then he finished playing in 1950 to take the band on, 1955, after Jack Probert's death. And he conducted it until 1975. And then he handed it over then to the next stage, and we've gone on to the present day. As I say, there were several conductors, but there were only two long-term conductors. That was Jack Probert and Wyn Jones, and Wyn Jones through the 20th century. And then there was other conductors with David Banwell, Bernard Williams, Ivor Roberts, Ivor Roberts from Trinity, We've got photographs of the band in 1895 when the band won the Welsh Championship, and the conductor of the band that day was Alec Owen, who was the conductor of Black Dyke Mills band at the time. And he was a top soloist player. I think he was a cornet player, but he was a champion of Great Britain before he became a conductor. And the band had several major conductors, but they were very covetous with the band. And why the band didn't enter several of the national competitions back in the 19th century through the 1800s, and that because Thomas Brown and John Lancaster, they were very covetous with the band. They'd only let the band do competitions when it suited them, but they used the band for their own purposes, for concerts, because they all had mansions, and they all lived in mansions, and God knows what. You've got to remember the band had a lot of an influx of players, and they were paying the players at one time.
Virtually professional.
Well, certainly semi-professional. Celebrated their centenary in 1921, but that was deemed to be several years late. So the 1817 date that we know that there was a group of musicians in the town, a conservative estimate of how far the band goes back.
We've had many good days out in contesting with the band, winning competitions, and I remember I won a solo prize the one time I was only doing a competition, and one thing led to another, a few too many drinks, and I let Colin carry on with the story.
Well, the band that actually won the competition, and then to add a bit of spice to it as well, the soloist of the day happened to be Russ, playing the soprano. And he's not known for spending money, but he went outside and there was a young girl riding a horse through the town. So he offered her 50 pence if he could have a lend of the horse for 5 minutes. So I won't say it. So anyway, he went up through the town on the horse with his cup and come back down. But it was the 50 pence that won the day, really, because he's not exactly
50p off.
He's not exactly free with his money.
That was money well spent, surely.
Yeah. But the band over the years has many unbelievable things. Unfortunately, rightly or wrongly, there's a few hotels that they can't go back to. There's I remember another story with Mr. Prolier.
Only one story?
Only one, yeah. Where I think he was pleading poverty again. I think.
Yes, Russ has caught that off me.
Yeah, he caught that off you. And
yes.
And they actually got him down in the foyer of an hotel and got your shoes and socks off and found a plastic bag full of money in your sock.
Correct, yes, that was my wallet. I walked with a limp, but I had a good wallet.
We done a
choice language when he was the
carnival years ago. Yeah, and our floats was an open back lorry. Remember that? Coal lorry normally.
One of Tommy Cole's coal lorries, if I remember right.
No hand guards on there, and I think so. The band would set up on it. We'd come down through the town playing, and our conductor then at the time was Mr. Jones for you.
For the day.
For the day, and because his dad couldn't make it, and we had to play a piece of music. And Mr. Music Man. Mr. Music Man, it was called, and there's loads and loads of repeats in it. Go back to the beginning, repeat it. Go back to letter A, repeat it.
Go into the quarter. Who missed the quarter?
We were right outside right outside the chapel where we are now.
Yeah.
And the band, half of them went back, half of them didn't. Half of them, the other half, well, they didn't even play anything. And the band just stopped, and Mr. Jones player, I've never heard him swear like that before anyway. He called us the biggest bunch of beep beep beeps in the world. Everybody in Blaina was out, and he never ever.
And they had it like now, they had it on camera.
Yeah, he never ever let us live it down.
You were framed. You were framed.
There was a time when Blaina Rugby Club won the Ben Francis Cup.
Again, right.
And they were marching down the street, and the band just went further and further apart. And half the band came down the street, and half the band went round Cwmgelyn. And then
we had such long legs, didn't we? In those days, if you're at the front, we'd set off at a great pace.
Yeah.
Well, we were very good at playing on stage. We were excellent at playing on stage, but the matter of getting onto the stage and off the stage was something different, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we were fighting over chairs, fighting over stands.
It was Sam Jelly, remember? You had in uniform, and Sam still have his cap on, didn't he?
And braces.
And braces.
Yeah. But the thing was, we were at that particular time, we had about an 8 to 10 year spell at that time where we were almost unbeatable. We won everything, didn't we? Yeah. But the thing was, going on and off stage was dreadful. And we went on stage in West End, and there was a deportment prize, but we didn't know anything about it, did we? And then we had I've got the adjudication to this day. You might have it now. We've got the adjudication to this day, and it said, if you've all got to come on in one big swoop, please stop scraping the chairs. And then it said, and if you're gonna, that mentions Sam. It said that if you're gonna all wear white shirts, that's okay. But why is the one man got to have a cardigan, a flat hat on, and braces on the cardigan?
Sam was in his 80s, wasn't he?
But the man was in his 80s, and he had to keep his trousers up. And then it was, and then the adjudication went on and on and on, got worse and worse and worse. And he said, and then please don't rush off at the end, like if you were trying to get down the pub.
What is it?
Right. And we were at the front, Colin and I, with trombones either side, and we had a bass player in the middle. And the vicar at the time was quite Catholic in certain ways, and he was swinging this incense in front of us, back and forth. Yeah. And the bass player said, "Oh, what's that bloody awful smell?" And the vicar turned round and looked at me and said, "That bloody awful smell is incense." I have forgiven Keith.
And he swore as well, the vicar swore.
Yes. So I haven't forgiven it to this day.
To the town, when we were first in the band in the 50s, 1950s, I mean, we used to come through this town with Christmas carols on a Christmas morning, because Dad used to have us out on a Christmas morning.
That's right.
Remember?
That's right.
Leading up to Christmas, good grief, look at all the streets we used to do. Like.
Well, it wouldn't be a street we wouldn't do.
No, we do every street in Blaina.
And Anecdotes.
And Anecdotes, yeah, Carol.
For hours.
Yeah, well,
For hours
you
coming,
can
wouldn't
do
The you know what the things that have changed now, what it meant to the town certainly then was everything, because the people would be out on their doors in their droves, wouldn't they? Right through the town centres, right through the streets, they'd be out on their droves.
I remember the time we, on a Christmas morning, we'd go to our Dowell Hospital.
Hospital, yeah.
And Blaina Hospital as well.
That's right, yeah.
Right through the wards there.
Yeah, go through the wards, and that was on Christmas morning.
Yeah, Christmas morning,
Yeah. Because I can remember, and you know, being a kid, you know, under 10, you wanted to open your presents, didn't you? But you know that was put on hold.
Yeah.
So you had to go up with the band.
Up with the band first Christmas morning.
But it was everything to the town. Like the rugby club was everything to the town, and you know, the rugby team. I mean,
Well, that's right.
You know,
When they won, the Ben Francis Cup, we were there parading through the street.
That's right. Yes. And we always played on this. But like I said, it meant everything to the town. And I think it still would today. You know, especially the 3 year instrumental in taking the band forward now with a youth band and still a senior band. But they like I said, it's still important to the town, because they've really tried hard. We've got a great set of instruments. We've got a good set of instruments, and they've got a good youth section going, and a nice little ensemble of senior players. So it's very important that I think still to the town. A lot of people in the town, but it's not quite today to the town what it used to be.
Oh no.
You know, 40, 50 years ago. I mean, it was everything.
That's right.
They used to boast about their band, didn't they? The public used to boast about their band.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
You know, and but I think that's the same everywhere, mind. All bands everywhere.
It's in a concert here last Christmas time.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And in this building, this actual building now, and it was packed in here.
Yeah.
It was the community groups, so much support. It was incredible.
Yeah.
The whole church was packed out.
I think it's there to be had, isn't it?
Yeah.
The backing is there to be had of the community. It's just a matter that you've got to just go out and get it. You know what I mean? You know, and you get that by performing.
And I think we'll have sound backing from the community, from Blaina, if we carry on with the band.
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah.
still have really good
Yeah.
community spirit with the band as well.
Yeah.
It's really good.
But through because of the hardship, the hard work of previous committees, and as well as this one now, we're on a firm footing with instruments. You know what I mean? You know, that's the thing.
Yeah, which is a major bugbear.
Which is the main, which is a major
yes,
bugbear.
yes,
Yeah.
indeed, yeah. And of course the council, they're helping us big time as well.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah.
Hopefully we can carry on with the band. Blaina band's not dead and buried yet. It's
Not
still
yet.
going. We're very going.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, another 200 years, Russ.
Yes, I hopefully yes. Yes.
Well, I don't think you see me then, but don't matter.
I'll remember you, Ron.
Oh, thank you, Dave. Hopefully you'll be gone before me.
I'd like you to.